What is up, guys? Circon is here, bringing you guys another video. This time around, we're going to talk about the new patch that is coming, 9.20. And there's a couple of issues I have with it and a couple of things that I think are fine. And, I would like to discuss this, give some feedback. Hopefully, maybe somebody working, sees it and then completely ignores it. That'd be great. I'm just kidding, of course. I hope they take heed to what I have to say. So anyway, we're here playing the new pattern. So so you know what's in the background here. It obviously got the buff in the turret. Let me lower the volume a little bit because that was hella loud. So we're playing a Nubelberg, which is the new mode that you can get into. It's called Grand Battle, and for now it is tier 10 only, giving us tier 10 something more to do than the regular battles and the clan wars and whatever. So it's another option. You can opt out of it as well, so you will never see it. Now, the main thing I want to talk about this video is not the Fosh 50B, although I will probably talk about it. I want to talk about most of the patch. But my main concern right now is that I got feedback, or I got an answer to my question about marks of excellence. Now, everybody knows that a lot of people, endgame-wise, if you have every tank, or mostly every tank that you ever could want, a lot of people like the challenge of getting to the third mark, which means that you have done more damage than most people on the server playing the same tank, which can be a really fun thing to do, and a lot of people pretty much collect these things. I'm reaching like 100 now, and you can get them on tier 5 plus vehicles, and also of course at tier 10. And the tier 10 and 9 vehicles are arguably one of the harder third marks to get, because they're a lot more contested, and it's a lot harder to especially at tier 10. I think it's those gun marks are usually pretty hard because you fight other tier 10s a lot, yada yada. Whilst at the lower tiers, it's a little bit more steel clubby, and you can fight with less crew skills, no 6 sense, blah blah blah. So lower tiers tend to be a little bit easier, though some scouts and stuff like that is a little bit higher skill. Anyway, I want to talk about the tier 10 gun marks. So the tier 10 gun marks are relatively prestigious and relatively hard to get. And what have they done? And I asked for clarification here, and I got clarification back from Mr. Conway from the European server, is that the grand battles count towards marks of excellence. Now, at a glance, you might say, well, who the fuck cares? It's a a pickup group game, just like Assault and all the other stuff. So what's wrong with it? Well, as you can see by the numbers here, there are 30 tanks rolling around this fairly large battlefield. So what is my issue with this is that it kind of fucks with the gun marks, because there's a lot more potential. There is twice as much HP rolling around. Not to mention, this is only tier 10. So there's an enormous amount of HP on this map. And the potential of you doing damage, especially in like MPTDs and stuff like that, is astounding. If you're on the losing side in let's say the Swedish TD at tier 10, your potential damage is going to be ridiculously high, because they're really good at defense and stuff like that. Now, I'm just taking this as an example, but even me in the pattern here will have a lot more things to shoot at. Granted, more things will shoot back at me. But gun marks is all about doing damage, doing tracking damage, doing spotting damage. All of that combined gives you the marks of excellence, right? So my issue with this is that somebody who will opt in to grand battles versus somebody who doesn't opt in for grand battles is completely fucked, because the guy who gets grand battles the most will likely have the most damage per game, on which marks of excellence is heavily based. Yes, tracking counts, yes, spotting counts, but even those mechanics are a bit weird, because if you have more tracking than spotting, then the tracking only counts. Stuff like that is really weird, but it mostly comes down to damage. So, and then you have another example is if I play a lot of my tier 10 pattern, and Steve plays a lot of it in his pattern, and the random RNG gods have decided to give Steve double the amount of grand battles because you cannot separately queue for them, will likely mean that Steve if he's at a similar skill level as me, or even if he isn't, will have the opportunity to do a lot more damage than me in regular battles facing 15 people. And then of those regular battles, I could also meet tier 8s and 9s. Now you could say, well, that's a good thing because then you can, carry the game hard versus tier 8s because, you can kill them in about 4 shots every tier 8 heavy, stuff like that. And yeah, there is merit for that as well. But a lot of people that go for the gun marks, the third gun mark, not the first, not the second, will want to have grand battles all the time, and you cannot separately queue for them either. So it is gonna be really, they're gonna add a level of RNG to gun marks at tier 10 that I personally do not think is cool at all. Because whoever gets grand battles more, and if you don't like playing grand battles, well, good fucking luck, That, like, I personally, grand battles, I think it's okay, it's nothing groundbreaking. I think it's, an extra thing to do, which is fine. You can opt out of it, which is fine. But personally, I think they should give different rewards than the gun marks. But there's another thing wrong with that as well, when you kind of think about it, is that if you do not give Mark of Excellence for this game mode at all, then playing Grand Battle mode is a waste of time. But you can opt out of it. So if you're really grinding for the third mark, you opt out of it and you can continue playing, right? And what would be cooler than adding something else to your tank? Maybe an emblem, for example, Make the emblem here. Make that emblem unlockable, like a special emblem or something like that. And then you can show that off and grind for that in grand battles. Which leads me to another thing. I would like to see a separate queue for grand battles. Now, some people might say that they will segregate the tier 10s and blah blah blah, and keep it as a thing you can queue for, and keep it as a random battle type as well. And then, I think that would probably work because I think a lot of people would enjoy playing. You know what? I really enjoy grand battles. I would love to play some more. And then they queue up on a Friday night. It's like, man, I can't wait to play some grand battles. And then all they get is regular battles, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe the odds of that are fairly low. Maybe everybody will get a whole lot of grand battles. I don't know. It depends on how popular the mode will be as well. But the core of the issue here is that I think the gun marks should be left alone to the 15 versus 15 because of the gigantic health pools and the astronomical amounts of damage you could potentially do. Now, I strongly feel that heavies are the least to worry about because they seem to do fairly normal amounts of damage. But like TDs that sit in the back and defend the point, especially like I said, the Swedish TDs, for example, even on regular games that are 15 versus 15, will do a lot of damage before they die because they're really good at defending a point. You know what I mean? And now you're defending a point versus a tank that's, even, how do you say? There's even more health on the field. So, as my feedback for 9.20, what I'm saying is, please do not add the gun marks to the grand battles, because the potentials that you can do in these kinds of games are ridiculous, alright? And a lot of people will, the tier 10 gun marks will be totally out of whack, and I unfortunately could not upload this replay to the What Replay site because it's on the test server, and I guess it doesn't take the newest test server things. I couldn't upload it, so I had to watch my my replay on Twitch.tv, which is also half muted. That's why I'm re-recording it again as well. And if you look at the damages here, I've done 6,483, fairly casually. But if you look at the rest of the team, everybody has done damage, right? 3,000, 3,000, 3,000, 4,000, 3,500. There's a lot of damages out there. This will completely screw with Marks of Excellence, and it will favor people that will get grand battles more. So please remove the gun marks from grand battles. I really, really think it's a stupid idea, and it will make gun marks grinding so much less satisfying because there's even more added RNG to it. And if you don't even like playing grand battles, then you're making it even harder on yourself. Just give us something else. Give us an emblem, something like that that you can grind towards. Give us a separate gun mark for this mode, maybe. That, or I would prefer something like an emblem or something that's added to the gun marks, not just another gun mark grind in this mode. And go with that. But please don't add it. For the love of God, don't add it to the regular games, please. Anyway, hopefully this informed you about the gun marks. And you may agree, you may not agree. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and maybe give us a little bit of a healthy discussion in the comment section. I will be sending this to Wargaming, of course. Maybe they'll hear me out. Maybe they won't. I don't know. But at least I have tried, because I don't think I've heard anyone else talk about this. So please don't do it, Wargaming. Please. Anyway, catch you guys in the next videos. Thanks a lot for tuning in as always. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this, more stream highlights, and more replays. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Peace out.